Anyway, I want to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. So listen, it's if you're not directly in Leafs Nation, I want to explain how it is right now. You've got Leaf fans that have bled for a long time. We saw this team be bad for a long, long time, all of us. Mm-hmm. And we saw a little light at the end of the tunnel. I remember that April 13th, 2016, I think it was. It was my birthday. That's how I know this. You know, the Toronto Maple Leafs get the first overall pick. And I remember like in my living room audibly yelling. I remember Steve, I think you did something for Sportsnet that night.
I wind sprinted around the studios. There's a behind the scenes video. I got to find it somewhere, but Story, who we had on our podcast, Story Sayers, she was recording my reaction and streaming it. And there's a behind the scenes footage of me sprinting and her sprinting after me.
Amazing.
We got to find it. I ran by Damian Cox and he's like, who the hell is this?
I'm going to reblock that guy on Twitter. Anyway, I think, you know, you have to understand where this comes from. And then, of course, obviously there have been some heartbreaking losses along the way. And at anytime a team loses, there's reasons why they lose. They're young. Capitals here. Now they're young again. Boston first time. Well, they're not so young, but the head coach isn't optimizing play. Yeah. Right? Second Boston year. Fire the head coach. Bubble season. Didn't show up against Columbus. Lost their best defensive defenseman. Fair? Yeah. Like a miraculous comeback in game 4. But without Muzzin, they were not the same team.
Well, and with the bubble, they were almost shut out 3 straight games. Game 3 is the one where they blew a 3-0 lead. Mm-hmm. And lost. Mm-hmm. They almost got shut out in game 4. They were 3.5 minutes from getting shut out. And then the
comeback, crazy.
The single most miraculous comeback in Stanley Cup playoff history, like even ahead of maybe on par with the Boston game 7 one. The difference was that was game freaking 7. And then in game 5, they got shut out.
Yeah.
Boo. Yep. In an elimination game, boo.
So then the next year, their captain takes it's an unfortunate accident that happened with Corey Perry. But like if you compare the Leafs and the Habs roster, then I understand Montreal made the Stanley Cup Finals, and I understand that Carey Price is the goalie. I get it. The Leafs should have shut it down in games 4, 5, and 6.
Right? The Habs are currently worse than the Arizona Coyotes in the standings. Like that's the thing.
They're the last place team.
They're the last place team in the league, and that's coming 6 months after they're in the Stanley Cup final.
This is a one-off. This is a one-off to me, though. I will say that for Habs fans.
Well, no, because Carey Price, we're never sure if he's ever going to play it the same way again. And Shea Weber's never coming back.
The lineups didn't compare to any team they played. They should have lost to Vegas. They should have lost to maybe Winnipeg. They should have probably lost to Winnipeg. They should have lost to the Leafs. They lost to the Lightning. Like it was, I still don't know how they did it. And I'll be dumbfounded for the rest of my life.
So there's a reason. Jesse, you nailed it. You so nailed it. And this is why I'm bringing this up. Against all odds, they lost every time. One of those game 7 should have gone their way. One of them should have gone their way.
Mathematically.
Jake Gardner forgot to play hockey. That happened.
Mathematically, there should have been a game where they got outshot 40-10 and 1-2-1.
Right. Flip a coin.
Travis Dermott decides to turn around for some reason.
Yes. Like I'm going to do it. I'm going to press circle, 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 spinorama. Boom.
Let's go.
We outshot them 13-0 in overtime. Oh, boo-hoo.
Spinorama time.
So this is the problem, right? You got Leaf fans on one side are like, listen, I need something to believe in. It's really shitty in Ontario right now, and I want this team to be good. I desperately want them to win. I desperately want them to win. And they did win on Saturday.
Yeah.
Then there's the other group of Leaf fans who are going, yes, they won, but they should have won in the second period. It should have been over. And what they did was they let the St. Louis Blues, who are admittedly a very good team, back in. And the problem is, with Toronto Maple Leafs hockey, you can never be sure of any lead, no matter how wide. And we've seen this for the better part of a decade now. I think everybody can admit to that. So what I want to ask Steve is you did a video about this, and by the way, I had a blast with that St. Louis game. Had an absolute fucking ball. I loved watching it. It was a fun game.
I got to watch 2 periods of it with Sid Sixero on the stream. It was great.
Why are people so mad at you?
I don't know. I mean,
what did you say in the video?
I went over the top for sure, as I will do, but I don't always do that. I do that when I think the moment calls for it. And I thought the moment called for it. And I wasn't even lambasting the team. Like there was very little criticism of the actual team. It was just, oh my God, it's always the Leafs. Always the Leafs. You can never have a moment's peace. In a 4-game span, everything I'm about to say is true. In a 4-game span, they blew a 4-1 lead, a 3-1 lead, and another 3-1 lead. They also had a 4-game road trip that included St. Louis, Vegas, and Colorado, and came out of it with 5 out of 8 points. We're going to leave out the fact that the only game they lost in regulation was to Arizona. Mm-hmm. But
it's bizarre, isn't it?
It's the Leafs are the best team.
Or what we've come to expect.
The Leafs are the best team in the National Hockey League since November 1st, and that's not good enough.
No, but it's not. Well, Jesse, it's not.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were trying to dig at me. I'm like, this is why I feel like I'm taking crazy pills and people are not. Like, do you just have the web browser on your TV and you stare at the standings for 2.5 hours every Saturday? That's your night. Watch the games, man. You don't see this happening again. We even proved earlier this road trip, when they blew the lead to Colorado, that they're the team who does this the most. Statistically, they're the team that does it the most. No, I'm being mean. Okay.
I don't think.
What do you want? They're great. Hooray!
It's bizarre to me.
You want me to take? No, I think what people want is for me to take nothing from every game.
No,
I think it's 6-5, and it's great because 6 is bigger than 5. The end. Every video it's a TikTok. It's just 15 seconds, and the final 10 are I'm just staring at the camera because I've already told the story of the game. They won 6-5. The end.
Right.
Because of everything Adam outlined, nothing you say is going to convince anybody on either side of the Leafs argument that they're right or wrong, because until the playoffs happen and they don't Leafs it up in the playoffs, all of this, if you're like, hey, the Leafs are good right now because they're the best team in the National Hockey League, you're on that side and you can't be proven wrong until the playoffs. And if you're on they need to play better because they need to win in the playoffs, you can't be proven right until the playoffs happen. Right. So it's this weird limbo, and it's a very difficult situation for you who has to comment on every single game kind of rationally and point out with the flaws and what's actually going good.
It's teetering on religion.
Well, yeah, that's what you're dealing with, though. You know that.
Yeah, that's what fandom is.
Do you believe or don't you believe? Some people are going to believe and others aren't going to, and we're not going to know which one's right until we die. Except death is the playoffs, right?
Yeah. So here's what I would say. I think what we all need to do to bridge the gap. Here's what I want to say. Okay. What I see from the Toronto Maple Leafs is a very, very good hockey team. You got some great surprises here. Michael Bunting is fucking awesome. He's such a piece of shit. I love it.
I love him. He's our piece of shit.
Michael Bunting. Andre Kasha was playing great. Simmons and Spezza are doing what they need to do. You could show me all the advanced stats that you want. They're not very adding a whole lot. I don't fucking care. We've had advanced stats darlings in those positions, and they've done diddly squat. So I'm totally fine with them doing what they do. Morgan Riley looks good. Rasmus Sandin looks elite. Muzzin's clearly playing hurt. Justin Hall needs to find out who he is again. Loved seeing Liljegren get a goal. Here's what I saw Saturday night, okay? Here's my balanced take. I saw vintage Mitch Marner and vintage Austin Matthews. Mm-hmm. Mitch Marner hadn't played since December 2nd and came out there. And in the first period, to me, was the best player on the ice. He was stealing pucks. He's creating turnovers. He's doing everything that Mitch Marner does. And he never gets enough credit for this. Everyone's like, he's a great playmaker. He's a great playmaker. What I love about Mitch Marner's game is his takeaways in the neutral zone and his takeaways in the offensive zone. Just when the team thinks that they're about to break the puck out and he's in there like a little mosquito, literally taking it away. And
that's
I say
how he scored.
He's probably as tall as I am, but for some reason, Mitch Marner, we have him pegged as small.
I will die on the hill that he is 6 feet tall.
There you go.
I've met him. He's 6 feet tall.
So my thinking in all this is, yeah, okay, so that was all good. But let's look at some of the goals against. And that was, 2 of them at least, were the Matthews line. And Matthews has been very, very good defensively. Saturday night
was tough.
Was really fucking tough for that line.
Ryan O'Reilly sunned him hard on the first goal.
Yeah, and that is going to happen. Ryan O'Reilly's fucking awesome, and that is going to happen. The thing with the Leafs this year, part of why they're so great, yes, they've got elite scoring. Yes, their defense seems to be much better than it has in years. The last couple of years have been really good there. They're riding a Vezina candidate goalie, guys. They are. Jack Campbell's been... What's that?
Which is great. Hooray.
It's great. But Jack Campbell can't be almost... He's like a millimeter away from less than 2 goals a game. He can't do that every night.
No.
So at a certain point, the structure of this team and the best line on it have got to play some defense. If Jack's not having the best night, and I didn't think the goals were that egregious that were scored on him, honestly. No. But they happened because of defensive strategy breakdown. They did.
The stupid thing about that is that you could do that 16 times in 2 months and win the Stanley Cup.
Totally.
Jack 100%. Jack Campbell could stand on his head 16 times and all of a sudden you have a Stanley Cup.
Jonathan Quick with the LA Kings. And that was a great Kings team. But Jonathan Quick was the guy.
He was unbeatable. Unbeatable.
Simply a wall. And here's what I want to say about the Leafs. Here's what they are, okay? They're very exciting. They're quite erratic. Period to period erratic. If they had a good first period, you can bet that they're going to come out slow the next 5 minutes of the second period. You can count on it. Count on it.
They get scored on in the first 4 minutes of each period in that game.
Well, there you go. But
it was faster each period.
They do have this bit of je ne sais quoi about them. They've got a little bit of magic, a little bit. And it seems to be growing. And I'm excited about it because the last 2 years have been depressing as hell.
Oh, you're talking about the opposite.
This team is, to me, this team's a contender. It's just a matter of can they pull 4 games in a row at 60 minutes apiece together for 4 straight rounds. Haven't seen that yet, but I know they're capable.